Perfect. So we are live in
Hi,
Women's Entrepreneur Network. So good morning, afternoon and evening, because you're global, right? It's wonderful.
Good point. I do love Monday mornings. Monday mornings for me are all about looking at the week ahead. I love schedules. I love being in a routine. That's one of the reasons why I love this time of year. I feel really inspired to get into a really good routine, whether it's work, working out, time for myself, looking ahead, thinking about holidays already. I'm excited. I'm a big Christmas person, so I realize December is coming.
Winter's coming, yeah.
Winter's coming. So before you start, Catherine, you're going to be chatting most of the time today. I just wanted to introduce everybody to both. I know they are pretty well. Some people will be familiar with you. Catherine Kim Mullen, and I'm Corrine Ewert, and we are with Sage Navigation. And we truly believe that women and men, we do have a bit of a focus on women, can have wealth in all areas of their life. And when we say the word wealth, that is defined by you. It is completely up to you to decide what that means. We just believe that you deserve it, and we want to help you achieve it. So we've broken it down into pillars for our business purposes, and we have 5 pillars. We work on financial wealth. So that's monetarily being successful. Again, defined by you. For some people, that means a different amount of money, frankly. So Catherine's going to be talking a little bit more about money in a minute. Our second pillar is social. Funny story, but when I realized I was going to be an empty nester, my therapist told me one of the most important things to have is a social life. And to be active in your community. And I really got engaged with a book that Catherine and I recommended to our community called Ikigai. And it's all about living healthy, long lives. And this community in Japan, they are all about having a socially wealthy lifestyle, meaning gardening together, doing activities together, have a lot of gatherings, celebrating everything with other people, small wins, big anniversaries, whatever it is. So social pillar, so important. Spiritual, and again, this could be faith-based in a religion. This could be just understanding that the universe unfolds exactly as it should. One of my favorite sayings that Catherine has taught me, and I have embraced wholeheartedly. I truly believe that. So the spiritual pillar and being wealthy, meaning just having a healthy spiritual foundation is important. Mental wealth, we can all talk about that. I think maybe one of the very few good outcomes of COVID was that we all realized how important it was to be mentally well and to focus on that and ourselves in that capacity. And then again, on that note a little bit, our physical wealth. This is something that's been very important to me, taking care of ourselves physically. And what I love about this, on our journey with our community, we have all recognized that being physically well doesn't necessarily mean that you're thin and you're fit and you look in the mirror. It has really very little to do with what you see in the mirror, and more with what you do with yourself, your body, where you live, how you surround yourself. Your physical surroundings play a huge role in that. When you look around the room you're sitting in right now, have you made an effort to make it a place that you enjoy, that makes you feel good, that gives you that positive energy, that energy that really kind of kicks you into a high gear? And I know we can talk about law of vibration and all of that another time, but recognizing also all 5 of those pillars tie into each other. Just the last 2 that I mentioned, the physical and mental pillars. We all know, scientifically speaking, being physically active can help create endorphins in our bodies, which helps our mental wealth. So we focus on 5 pillars, but they all go hand in hand for an overall emotional wealth. And that really is the goal at the end of the day, is to help everybody that we encounter, because we embrace everybody that comes into our community, to achieve emotional wealth. And it is possible. And we are so happy to be here with you guys. So Catherine, I know you have a lot to say. I'm going to pass it back to you. We are talking about money today.
We are. And it's interesting because I spent 3 months focused on mental wealth. and my life changed. And we've been here speaking about mental wealth for a while. And now for the next couple of weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, when you come in on Mondays, really we'll be speaking about financial wealth, that pillar, and how, what is it to be rich? So what is it? So there's rich in all areas, but the thing is, we really want to talk today about an area that over my lifetime, it took me a long time to be comfortable with money. It took me a long time. I was impacted in a big way with, I was raised Irish Catholic. I don't think I have to say more. My grandparents gave all of their money. They wanted all of the money to go to the church. And we're not alone. But the impact of that is very subtle. It's the messages we hear when we hear somebody, oh, that guy's filthy rich. Who wants to be dirty, right? So the impact. So we have a workshop coming up on Monday, which we're going to talk about. It's absolutely free. Well, it's not free because your precious, precious, precious thing that you've got to guard is your time. So it's not free. It's financially free. And the investment is you focused on you and money. But let's get to what I want to start with. I want to make you uncomfortable. What? Yes, I want to make you uncomfortable. So what does that look like? That's getting uncomfortable to say something you might not otherwise say. Have you ever heard somebody say, well, I love myself? What's the first thing you think of? You think, oh my God, that person's full of themselves, right? What ego do they have? When I meet somebody that tells me they love themselves, I get really excited. I really want to know that person, because what I feel is they're going to love me even more because they understand what love is. They
Right.
can share, right? So that's like that with money. So if you're alone, then yell this, what I'm going to say next. And if you're with other people, you don't have to share that you're vulnerable with them. You may be at the office, you may be, listening to this and your children are around, and don't worry about what other people think, but guard yourself in your thoughts. Guard yourself from opinions of others. So what I want you to do is say, I love money. That's not
I
loud.
love money.
I love money.
I love money.
Oh, it excites me.
Of course, I love money.
And that's what you got to feel. Remember that money doesn't go where it isn't loved.
It's true.
Do you go visit people that you don't love? So why would money visit your bank account if you don't respect it, if you don't love it, if you don't have anything you want to do with it? And there's the start. It starts with that point A and it ends with that point B. And everything in between is the journey. And money, what is your relationship with money? One time I remember I was talking to Corrine, and believe me, to put everything into, I'm working on a presentation on applied faith that I have to submit to the Napoleon Hill Foundation. And I have to tell you, putting everything into 15 minutes, that's a challenge. So coming in here and staying on point and not handing you all kinds of stuff too fast is my challenge. Corrine, one day, as we were talking about, she realized about relationships with money, and I would bring to the table as a result of her questions. And she has questions. I have stuff and she has questions. A match made in heaven. So I want you to think of your relationship with money. Stop what you're doing, stop everything you're doing, and think, because money is how we revolve around this world right now. That's how you get what you want in life. Oh, I want this. I want a great website. Oh, I'm going to call Haley. Well, are you paying her? Because if you want the best, you have to pay for the best. But you know what? You're not losing your money when you invest in the best. Are you paying for the things you need? In some way, are you investing your time to learn? And are you surrounding yourself with what you need? Now let's get to money, your relationship. Yes, Karina.
I was going to jump in and say that kind of speaks to the money and the relationship that you have with money, because if money is your friend, then your friend wants you to use your relationship to better yourself, to make things better in your life. So money is your friend if you're using it to invest in making your life better in that way. And I just wanted to say also that I know you're going to get to the relationship of money, but I don't want to interrupt you again. So I just want to say this was a new concept for me as an adult. Growing up, I didn't have a lot of money. My mother didn't have a lot of money. And money was something, bills would come in the mail and it would be a terrible thing. And we would hide, my mom would hide them under the pieces of paper and deal with it later and push it aside. And oh my God, there's bills, there's all these things. So my relationship with money that I learned was money was not a good thing. Any type of money was really probably a bad thing in some capacity. Happy to get your paycheck, but then you had to spend it. You had to pay for things. So I grew up with an unhealthy relationship with money and I didn't even know it.
Yeah, most people don't.
And it changed
It's
for the better because I learned.
Thank you. And that's why people will want to participate. We're doing a high level view of the things that are important, a very small view and of what we cover, but it's so important. Money's meant to be circulated. It's like the air. Imagine, okay, it worked for Thomas Edison to create incandescent lighting, but imagine taking the oxygen out of something. You can't breathe. Well, money has to move. It has to circulate. And yet we keep finding ways to say, do I really need that? Or I've just spent too much. Or, what is too much? And what is your relationship? So do you have a good relationship? Do you even have a relationship with money?
Right. That's exactly it. Do you make a conscious effort to know, is money your friend? Do you treat it well? When you see money, are you like, oh, hello, how are you today? I love you. I want to spend time with you. What do you do when you see money or think about money? When you first think about money, do you welcome it? Do you treat it well?
And do you treat it like it's supposed to be? It is there to serve you. So do you treat it as, and I know people say, servant. Well, you know what? You treat your servants well. My grandmother came from Ireland and cleaned houses. So she was a cleaning lady, a servant to many. And I can tell you, she had clients that didn't treat her well. Mm-hmm. She couldn't wait to get out. And as soon as she found another client, left that client that wasn't very kind. We had problems sometimes. Like I had a problem hiring somebody to clean for me because I felt, cleaning's not beneath me. And it was through David that I learned, my son, that isn't that wonderful to be able to hire somebody to help me so that I can do something else to help somebody else, pay them and pay them more than going rate because I value them. I pay the people that I work with more than the average and less than they deserve because they deserve so much more.
Everybody does.
And you know what? And what is your relationship? How do you feel about money when you're spending it? Do you feel like, well, wait a minute, I can get somebody to do that for minimum wage, so why am I paying them more? Or when the person delivers your pizza to your door, and you're about to give them a tip, are you giving them $2 or are you saying, I'm giving you 15%? At 50, you gave me 15%. All I did was deliver the pizza. Yes. Now, imagine how he treated somebody else after that. Do you see how it circulates? So he goes up. I saw him a week later and he said, I went up and bought a coffee for somebody when I was in the lineup. Why? Because he had a little extra to do it. So what's your relationship? How are you spending your money on the things you want and need? And how do you feel when you spend money? How do you feel? And you'll say, oh, well, it's easy for, this is the line. And I know every one of us has had this said to us at one point, if we're being frivolous in front of a friend with money. Oh, wow, you can afford that. No. You don't know what people can afford or not. Don't judge a book by the cover. They're not always great covers for great books, and they're not always great books for great covers. So when you go out there, what is your relationship with money? Never mind your business. Don't be worried about other people's relationship, and don't worry what they say to you. right? That's a thing that I think is important. And the investment. What do you invest in? Does that include you? Because I can tell you my experience with money is, what does my son need? And I only have one. And if I had, what does my niece need? And what does my nephew need? And what did my mother need? And what did my father need? And somewhere on that line, no, I can honestly say I didn't invest in myself for years. And you know what? I changed that because I'm part, if I do something for me, it spreads and it's contagious, and there is enough for everybody. And you also teach the people around you how to treat money. Like I teach my son that he's important, not because I give him everything, but because I also give myself something. So he learns that he's important. Are you teaching the people in your world to invest in themselves? You know,
I'll never forget, Catherine, one of the first quotes I wrote down after you and I met. You said, loving yourself is the best gift you can give to those around you.
yes.
And it's,
I didn't remember I said it because you're very
have these
fast with
things.
that. You're good with that. But I'm all about love. I love money. I love my life. I love, if I don't have the feeling of love, to me, that's a sign. That's
Well,
a
I
sign.
mean, just saying out loud, if everybody could just for a moment and do it quickly and then erase it, say in their brains, I don't like money. I hate money. Money is terrible. Why would I like money? Like, God, isn't that like terrible to say out loud? Doesn't that sound terrible? Doesn't that put out into the universe obvious things about how you do not want to have money? So you have to love money. You must love money. You must feel comfortable saying you love money. You must feel okay. And actually even more than okay. You must feel that you love money more than anybody else.
And you know what? Many of us right now with school starting, not many, but some of us, I don't think the whole population necessarily has people heading off to university, but whatever it is, your child that's going to elementary school, your child that's went there, you're a change, some change in your life. When the person walks in the door, like when David comes home, when your children, like your son was just back, it's like, welcome home. And that's what you want for money.
Right.
Welcome home. So you know what? Money and time. If you think about the past, and we'll talk more about it, it's a surf. So what are you given? That's what all you have to consider. What are you given? Bob Proctor often said, and here's some quick, somebody would say zingers, very fast. Money is an instrument to be used. Are you using money as an instrument, or is it manipulating you? And that's the word I'll use. It's not too positive. Is money managing you, or are you managing your money? Is money manipulating you, or are you using your money? It's a very simple thing. Money goes where it feels love. I don't know how many times to say it. He says money goes where it's invited and stays where it is welcome. So if you invite a friend over, you know, I go into Coburg and I'm coming to Coburg. I know I have at least 5 doors I can say, hi, how are you? You know, and it's like, come in. And how long are you staying? And do you want a cup of tea?
For those of you that don't know Catherine, she lives in Montreal, in Quebec, and Coburg is a small town that she used to live in years ago. But just wanted to put it into context for people. It's about a 5-hour drive away from where you currently live.
So here's the thing, you know money's a servant, and you know it's a tool. So now, in the Science of Getting Rich, Wallace D. Wattles, because we're right now in book club, want to know more about that, just reach out. We're studying that book. We're reading that book. We're sharing our thoughts on it. And you know, it says something very good. Money loves attention. And we want to give it attention. And you know, it's 10:55. So we're going to wrap it up. And we're back next week to talk about finance and money, because there's so much more we can talk about. But if you want to dive a little, if you have an hour, okay, sign up. It's in Zoom. So you're not in Facebook watching us like you are right now. You actually are interacting with us. You sign up. I'm going to put the link below this. When I'm finished here, I'll go into the post and I'll put it in the comments, and you can go directly and sign up from 12 to 1
Next
Eastern
Monday.
Standard Time on the 18th of September. We are going into a Zoom room and we're fall in love with money is what we're talking about. And we're going through the law of compensation. We're talking about affirmations stated in the way to attract it to you. We're talking about the impression of increase, because really you want to leave everybody with that and yourself. We're talking about the 10% rule that you don't want to miss. You've heard David Buck, but you haven't heard Kareen with the 10% rule. And
Smart women finish rich. David Bach, right there.
yeah, I actually met him. I studied under him
I know, it's
for
amazing.
for hours, and he's wonderful. And you know what? We want to talk about the energy of money and how doorways lead it and your subconscious mind. That's all happening Monday, September 18th. The link will be here. It's absolutely free financially. Your investment is your time. And if you don't want to know about money, if you don't want to dive deeper, if you say, I don't have time about money, this money thing, I really don't, then don't waste your time. Don't waste your time. But if you want things in life and you want to know what to do with money, then you'll be in the right place with the right people.
And I would also say, if you have a great relationship with money, if you have things, if you know things, you know, and Catherine always says she has stuff, but if you have stuff that you can share with others and others might gain from, please join us. We would love to see you.
You know, absolutely. And thank you for taking the time. Thank you, Haley and Meg, for making it easy to do this and reach out to people, and wishing everybody.
And we'll see, we can be back. We're back next week at 10:30 again in WEN, right?
Yes, next week we'll be back on this same topic. But on Friday, Haley joins us and we talk about Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, at 10 a.m. And that's pretty cool because anybody can. Will you be one of those that do? Right? Catherine Kim Mullen,
Kareen Ewert.
Sage Navigation's waiting just for you.
Bye, everybody. Have a great week.